Hello, welcome back to another episode of
TNO.
And all, we are the Thursday Night Outcasts. This is episode 7, where we do a post-analysis discussion of Survivor South Africa. We normally start off with the recap. Kobus, he's the host along with Claudio. He's going to take and I refer to myself in third person. Anyway.
It's rubbing off.
Take us away with the recap.
Yes, so we saw a tribe shuffle. Basically, I think it was good from the production side of things to split it into 2 tribes. Now we only have Saula and Ta'alo. So yeah, I think to some extent the playing field's a bit more level now. Otherwise, Lau May would have deteriorated. So yeah, Steffi got sent to the Island of Secrets. I do think there's an expression in Afrikaans which sums it up quite well. What the outcasts are, what the castaways are going through at this stage, and that is they are as de mekaar as kots in 'n tuimeldroër. So that translated is they're like a chunder in a tumbledraaier. So yeah.
Thanks for that translation, because you lost me. It went over my head there.
Anyway, so yeah, no, I think it keeps things interesting. Yeah, we saw 2 challenges: the rewards challenge, the immunity challenge. Rewards challenge, they had to work together as a team. I think it was a pretty cool challenge. I don't know what to say about that more. What was more significant for me actually was the immunity challenge. I think specifically because I feel like I would have had a better strategy. I don't know why they did it the way they did. I would have put the strongest players in front so that they were able to pull the weaker players when it was necessary, because you can't push a weaker player. That's why you don't put a horse behind the carriage. Any case, but so yeah, those are my thoughts. Okay, lastly, just quickly, so ended up Ta'alo ended up losing the immunity challenge and went to tribal council, and not Letitia got voted out, but Superman Clark Kent here, unfortunately, got one of my favorites, got voted out. Anyway, Claudio, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good episode in a sense that it is a stepping stone for what's to come. They're definitely paving great excitement. We've got a lot more players involved in the game, less guys MIA, missing in action. It was good to see Mike make an appearance, and Jeffrey. It was also interesting, if we're looking at it from a holistic point of view, is Jeffrey has a lot more to his game than what's on the surface. If we're diving deep into the immunity challenge in particular, it was interesting in the sense that there was a strategic advantage for the one tribe, in particular Saula, seeing as they started going uphill on the sand. Saula went through the water, but they weren't quick enough to realize that they were at a disadvantage and work harder throughout the water. So that's also what the result was. And yeah, man, if we're going to talk about Rocco, if Rocco got complacent, he's a bit naive, and that's why he ended up going home. So that's pretty much my summing up of what happened in the episode. Far.
Yes. Well, yeah. So to some extent, the episode left you hanging a bit to some extent, but in any case, that's just a recap quickly. Claudio, Golden Spear, what would you say are your nominations for this week's Golden Spear?
Vote. I dare you.
I like Nicole. I like what she did this episode. I do think they won the challenge because she realized that they started off on the sand, so she got her team to work harder there to make up the ground early on, and ultimately landed up winning the challenge because of that move, and she pretty much got them to do that. So Nicole's good for me. I will give some brownie points for Slow Durang. He's a slow learner, but he's getting there. He got thrown into the Saula tribe. He realized he got separated from CPay, but through his connection with CPay, he tried to make a bond with Nicole. But his downfall again was he pretty much blabbered his whole plan in terms of claiming he was the one responsible for blindsiding Felix. And so people are starting to think, whoa, especially Meryl, can we trust this guy? I like Jeffrey. I like what Jeffrey did. Jeffrey pretty much, he's got a lot more foresight than what he leads on, or than what he lets on rather, sorry. We got Dante, who throws a little span in the works trying to catch out Nicole because he's worried that him and Meryl are on the outs of this new solo tribe. And Jeffrey then speaks to Mambo, who's a bit concerned whether or not that Nicole has a full idol, says, no, listen, there's something fishy about this. I think Durang made that up. So he's got great perception, so I'll give him that. So he impressed me with regards to that. Who else should we speak about? Oh, Jockey. You know, Jockey, I can't go to an episode without mentioning the guy. This is arguably the one he's done the least in. And this is where I'm most proud of him, because he's talking about chapter 3. And chapter 3 for him is laying low. And I think that's been brilliant for him. He's letting all the big guys and all the big mouths come up into this tribe, especially in the Taule tribe. There are a lot of those big mouths. And he's just fading in the background, being a foot soldier in this so-called war that he claims is coming. And so I thought that was pretty impressive. Anyone else in particular? No, that's pretty much me. What do you think?
I think, well, mentioning Jock, I've mentioned it, you know, to you prior to the episode, as well as I think Jock's strategy is dynamic, in the sense that his strategy changes depending upon what part, you know, where they are in the game. And I think if you have a monolithic or a, you know, just a single strategy, you know, you're gonna get voted out. Like my favorite player here, Rocco. I think his strategy was to be the good guy, which he is, you know. One of my friends says that when Rocco goes to heaven is going to be a bit of a better place, you know. he's so good, you know. He reminds me of Ferdinand, that, you know, have you seen the movie Ferdinand?
No, I haven't. I have not seen that movie.
It's this big, massive bull, but like he's got the tiniest heart and he like sniffs flowers and stuff. But yeah, no, it's funny. Rocco reminds me a bit of Ferdinand. Any case, where I was getting at was, so yeah, I like the fact that Jock's got a dynamic strategy, fading a bit into the background now. But yeah, I want to give the golden spear to my man here at the back, just because I know you're gonna say no, because
it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. No.
But he was getting the people together, telling them, like, guys, this is what's happening. You know, we've got the 5 schoolyard bullies here. They're gonna screw you up if you don't start voting them out. And what did they do? They voted out. I mean, if you vote out Superman, who are you voting with? You're voting with Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is gonna freaking kill you. Any case, so okay, sorry, that's my rant. Rant for the day is over. Also, I was thinking Dante, because Dante is also challenging, you know, the top 5 candidates, the Amigo Alliance.
Yeah, so Dante is an interesting one, because I do think he pulled a real Aquaman move in the immunity challenge, and he literally dove in the water and caught the last man and won the challenge for them with that. I think in that moment, he was trying to get everyone to work together, and he just decided, screw it, I'm going one man. And he just landed up putting a couple of people with him along the way until he caught the last man. So yeah. Dante is an interesting, just from a performance from a challenge perspective. Yeah.
Shall we call it in for Dante, or do you really feel strong about one of your other players, Claudio?
Yeah, let's go with my man. My man Aquaman over here. Yeah, let's go with Aquaman. Yeah, right. 3, 2, 1. Aquaman. Good job, Dante. I mean, you're turning out to be a real villain of this series, and I'm loving every second of it. So yeah. Good job.
Cool to see. Wooden spoon.
Yeah, it's time for that. Who's the dummy of this episode?
Okay, I know you're not necessarily gonna agree with me, but the Rao, he's sucking in challenges, man. Yes, I would have flipping kicked his ass. He dropped the ball, literally dropped the ball like 3 times. And then I also feel like he rambled on about, he ratted out what happened with Felix in detail. So I was like, Darrell, shut the hell up, man. Any case,
You know what Durang reminds me of? He's like that kid in the group who always tried so hard to fit in, but he never got it right. And when someone else did something, he embellished the story as if it was his own. So him claiming he was responsible for the blind side of Felix is exactly what that moment was.
Yeah, bullshit, man. Yeah, any case, so who else do you think warrants getting the wooden spoon, Claudio?
Sipe was close for me, mainly because I thought she was hitting that self-destruct button, where Mike specifically said she came across condescending, pretty much telling everyone how they should play the game of Survivor. And I kind of felt I agreed with him. I don't think I would have done that, but she was trying to make it quite obvious that, you know, we shouldn't be voting out the weaker people now. We should start thinking long-term. It is an individual game. So I will kind of defend her for that, but I do think she's got that self-destruct button in her and she needs to rein it in a little bit. Rob, for me, Rob. He's got a bit of a smug face lately. He's walking around thinking he's scoring all the shots in the game. To be fair, he was responsible for getting out Rocco. But one thing I did not think was sharp at all, which was not as sharp as Rocco. I mean, we know Rocco's a rock, and not because of his muscles, because of the reason why he went home. But if we look at Rob in particular, him saying, yo, we need to look at getting out Superman. For me, it's like that's where alarm bells should be going off for Rocco, and his whole conversation in Tribal should change. But him saying that, Rob, being that arrogant to get away with it in the game of Survivor, and he got away with it, granted, but say something like that, he's treading a fine line. He's kind of like a tightrope master, and I think there's that ego is going to make him tip over. But let's speak about your boy Rocco. Rocco is late to the party, as always. I think it's logic because he's a great athlete, but he's an individual athlete, so his ability to socialize with other people takes longer than your average streetwise KFC burger. And so by the time he thought he was calling all the shots, Rob had already done that. Or should I say, I don't know, I would like to think that Jacques had a bit of influence there too, and Sipe. But yeah, I think his argument at Tribal Council was poor. He didn't fight for his life. He kind of just assumed everyone was going to do what he was saying because that had been happening throughout the game. Speaker Mike gets a mention because he voted him up, but not because he deserves the wooden spoon, but because he's actually involved in the game and because he's broke his Tribal Council virginity. So congratulations. Congratulations, Speaker Mike. Yes. Also think Kobus needs to get a shout out because he freaking still thinks this is a team game. And him saying, oh, no, I don't want to talk Survivor. Let's not talk Survivor. Dude, if you don't want to talk Survivor, don't be on the island. That's rule number one. Number two, stop voting for the strength of the tribe and start voting for how much further you're going to get into the game. So I think his eyes might have widened a little bit for that. Yeah. Is there anyone else? What do you think? Am I missing anyone?
Well, I think to some extent, I know she's an Otani, but Letitia, man, I mean, she sucked in the challenge, then she walks out and breaks a leg. So also Letitia, maybe, and then Nathan. You know, when I saw that,
Nathan, I forgot. Thank you for mentioning him. Thank you. Continue.
When I saw the poll on Mnet for, you know, we had to vote for who was going to injure his hand, I thought to myself, Nathan. Anyway, I was right. So winning some points there. But yeah, no, injured himself and he's feeling very sorry for himself. I don't think that's not a characteristic of a sole survivor for me. So I'm nominating my two main nominations for Wooden Spoon is Nathan or the Rao. And what are yours?
Yeah, no. I've got to agree with you. I completely forgot about the Nathan thing. He is a bit of a drama king, isn't he? He likes the attention. I think when the cameras aren't on him, he just thinks of something like, whoops, I cut my hand, he has blood, put me on camera. That's a bit harsh. But come on, man, dude, what are you doing? He's always injured. He's always crying. That's not okay. You're right. Characteristics are fought for this Ultimate Survivor. If he lands up winning Survivor, wow, I'm gonna question our Survivor strategy or the contestants. Anyway, yeah. So I think let's agree with him. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Alrighty. Listen, Claudio, quickly. Storm is brewing. What's your take? What is to come?
Oof, so much in terms of what's going to happen with the whole Rob versus Nathan. I know they're on separate tribes, but Dante versus Rob. Rob's still telling Nathan that, he needs to gun Dante. So if we're looking at Saula in particular, you've got Meryl and you've got Dante. They're at the bottom of this new tribe, coming from a power position in the previous situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fight for their lives and whether or not they penetrate the kind of alliance between Jeff, Nicole, Nathan, and Durang Mamba. If you look at Taulu, this tribe, it's a bit of a throw the ball up in the air and see where it lands a little bit, because you got Jacques, he can go anywhere. You got Kobus, who's a free agent. You got Sipe, who's got the relationship with Rob, but also prepared to throw anyone under the bus. So I think the Taulu tribe is where it's at. That's where the excitement's going to be this next episode.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fact, that that there are going to be some big moves. I mean, there's a lot of idols, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a tribal council where 2 or more idols gets played at the same tribal council, which always makes things super interesting. And what I in particularly like is when you've got someone with their back against the wall and they play their heart out. And I think at this stage, Dante and Meryl, they've got their back against the wall, but they're really going to play their heart out. So that's going to make for some interesting viewing, I think. And then also in the Taulu tribe, these the dynamics it's all up in the air. Anything can happen. So I'm really looking forward to a couple of very interesting tribal councils specifically. Yeah. Especially with Rob, he's very well articulated. I think that's he built a very good argument in tribal council for himself against Rocco. And then, like you said, Rocco didn't come to the party. He didn't say God. He didn't put onto the table what he has to offer and say, listen, guys, I might be a threat, as a one person, but there are much bigger threats out there. That's something I would have maybe considered, voicing at tribal council if I was in Rocco's shoes. What do you think?
Great. So on the points of Rob, very interesting. Well, you've got a big guy here who's saying, cool, he's rating the troops saying, let's get the strongest guy out of the game. The strongest guy. You've got who? Rocco. Why? Because he's good at challenges. Is he good strategically? No. So then you're getting him out of the game, but who's the next strongest guy?
Number 2.
Rob. Number 2. So you've got that whole Batman versus Superman vibe going, and Batman obviously not as strength as physically as obviously Superman, but he's smarter to a point. And now you've got Sipo who's also running around saying, guys, let's get out the strongest guys. So all I'm thinking is Rob thinks he's being smart with regards to having social side of the game. But these people are going to throw him under. He's next. And he's lucky he's got an immunity idol, because I don't think there's too much foresight there.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for the guys at the bottom of the alliances, or who are at the bottom at this stage, I hope they've got enough foresight to split their votes when they want to get someone out, because there are quite a lot of idols in play. Claudio, any last thoughts on your side?
Just to cover the exact who's got the idols, we've got 4 idols in play. We've got Meryl who's got an idol. We've got Nicole who's got 2 half idols making 1 idol. We've got Jacques who's still got an idol and an advantage, who's prepared to use it in whatever alliance he finds himself in. And then we've got Rob who's got an idol. And I do think Rob has the potential to go home with the idol in his pocket, because his ego is that big.
That is very, very true. Claudio, thanks for joining me for another episode of TNO. Looking forward to next week to chatting to you again.
Away, Massacant. Like I already see ya.